I am here today with Laura and Jim from Jim's Crop Circle, and I'm so happy that you're here because you have a very unique business that we're going to talk about. But before I jump into that, I have to say that Laura and Jimmy have, like, I just called you Jim a second ago, didn't I?
It's fine.
Okay.
Any of them.
It's okay.
And we had a whole discussion about this before we actually went live.
I'll go
and
by
then-
any. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. One of the things that I love most about these two is really their love story. They have like the sweetest, most amazing love story, and you guys you're like my proof that it exists. And while I know it's rare what you have, I refuse to believe it's not possible. And so you guys met like when you were kids, right?
Yes.
Am I going to
Yeah.
make you cry?
I'm already crying. It's only like
So you
5
guys
minutes.
should have talked about this at the end.
Oh.
So you guys met when you were kids and then reconnected as adults. And I'm just going to tell you right now, if you don't know the story of these two, if you didn't believe in love before, they'll make you believe in it. Yeah, just have hope. Because you kissed a lot of frogs, I'm sure, before you found your
Absolutely
prince.
in between. And I don't even tell the story to brag. I tell it to give people hope because
Yeah.
I know that it can happen for anybody too because I went through my stuff and so did Jimmy over here.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that's why it happened for both of us at the time it was supposed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect timing. So you just got to trust in the universe timing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just really sweet. I mean, I think my problem is rather than like kissing frogs who turn into princes, I kiss princes who turn into frogs, and I gotta flip
Switch
it around.
that.
Like,
Switch
people who
that.
appear as a prince, and then they, oh, sorry, just kidding. You know. But anyway, but we're not really here to talk about that. Although I had to slip that in because you guys are rad. You have recently started this really cool company, and
Yes.
it's doing microgreens. Can you tell me a little bit about what the company is?
Yeah. So it was actually it was founded on an experiment. Really, Laura went to a farmer's market and saw someone selling microgreens at the farmer's market. And she tried them. She really loved them. So she bought some seeds online. We grew them at the house in a foil like turkey tray type thing with some soil that we just had. And we're like, oh my gosh, this thing grew like within 7 days. We had the crop that we can eat. And we're like, whoa, we both of our brains just like went, wow, we could do this. This would be awesome. She's the cook. She loves food.
Yeah.
I'm a plumber by trade, urban farmer by night. So,
Okay. Urban farmer. I like that.
so yes. And then we just stumbled upon it and we're like, oh my God. And then once we started doing all the research on it, we found out, exactly what microgreens are, their value for their nutrition, the vitamins that they carry. It was just like a no-brainer. I mean, there's, especially with what's going on right now with the food in the world,
Mm-hmm.
everything's getting poisoned. People
Yeah.
don't even know what they're buying or what they're eating. So, we have a whole house water filtration system at our house. We're feeding our organics, non-GMO seeds with filtered water that grow beautifully. And we're not certified organic yet, but I can tell you that our stuff is organic. I mean, it's as organic as you can
We
get.
are still certified by the
But we are certified
by
producers.
the agriculture department.
Oh.
By the
That
state,
sounds like important.
by the state of
Yes.
agriculture of California. Yes, we are.
But the
yes.
organic label is going to take some years to
Okay.
put that
Yes.
on there, but
Yes.
that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Because we're still following those guidelines. So whether or not it's on the label or not, it almost doesn't matter because we're just so passionate about the quality of our product.
That's amazing. So what is a microgreen?
Ooh.
So a microgreen is the baby seedling of the adult plant. So at the baby seedling stage, you have the seed, you grow it to this tiny stage, and it actually holds the most nutritional value at that stage, vitamins and all that stuff. So as the plant grows older, it loses its.
Mm.
It still has nutrition
Just like
and
people.
vitamins, but for just for
Just like people.
Yeah,
people. Well, yeah,
you get old.
technically, yeah. So yes. Okay. So we like to grow a lot of the cruciferous family in our crops, like broccoli or kale or We have, oh my gosh.
Cilantro, rugulas,
Yes.
pea shoots, sunflowers. There's so many varieties. So the way I like to describe it to people, I'm like, it's just like wine. So wine, you're going to get a lot of different varieties.
I like wine.
You don't have to know every single varietal
Yeah.
out there, but we are working with like the top 6 to 8 at a time, just whatever is growing easily for us at that time of year. We also grow indoors.
Right.
So it's in a controlled environment. We're not relying on the weather. So
I don't think any of us can rely on the weather, especially recently. Like, what has been going on?
well, exactly.
Yeah.
Look at it outside today.
so
And
that's
then
good.
yeah, so not just the controlled environment, but the high-end water filtration system
Mm-hmm.
and then the organic seeds. So he's ordering those those high-end organic seeds directly from the companies that are reputable, that have been out there for years, and that's what we're using to grow.
Shout out to True Flea Market, by the way. You know, they supply a majority of our seeds that I buy from, and we use a cocoa core soil, so it's a soil that just keeps the water moisture. It retains moisture very well. Normally, a germination period for a seed takes 3 to 4 days. In the dark, you put weight on most of them, and then they sprout up. You put them under light, and within 7 days, within 10 days, you can be eating. Like,
That's crazy.
so
The
the
turnaround.
turnaround is insane.
you have food
So-
within 10 days of planting a seed that you can
Exactly.
actually consume.
Correct.
Highly nutritious food.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like a normal vegetable might take, it could
Months.
take 2 to 3, 4 months on certain ones, depending on the year. So if you can grow something from seed to harvest in 10, some might take a little bit longer, but mostly it's like 10 to 12 days.
hmm
And you know how to stagger that. So you know you're always going to have that supply of food. It's like a no-brainer. And it's some of the most nutritious food you can have. So it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
What kind of, oh, go ahead.
No, my favorite debate is when people say like, I don't have land, I don't have space, I cannot grow, I don't have farm, I don't live on acres. And I'm like, neither do we. That's what we're doing. And it's flourishing. Like we have the whole entire room just filled and it's controlled. So it's amazing. And so there's really no excuses because we followed other people who started their business like in their grandmother's basement. So it's just one of those things like, yes, we would love for the next step to get an industrial shed or some type of area that we can grow even more. But when people say they don't have land, I'm like, sorry, but we grow ours with what
Yeah.
we have.
Well, my thing wouldn't be so much that I don't have land. It's that I kill anything that's green in my house. I apparently have like the opposite of what a green thumb is, like a black thumb. I kill succulents. So I'm just meant,
Succulents. Okay.
that
That's
bad.
hard to kill.
it's not for me.
Well,
Let
he's
me
the
show you.
farmer. I don't even take pride in knowing what to do in that arena, so I feel your pain there.
I'm so bad.
I take pride, I think, in the kitchen. So I
Yeah.
know exactly
Yeah.
what to do with it. Once it's ready to harvest, I'm like, hand it over to me. I know exactly what recipes to use them for.
I've seen some of your stuff on social media, like some of the dinners that you make, and I just want to like jump through and eat them because I'm over here sitting there eating my crackers because I don't really cook and I don't grow plants. So I'm just really useless, really, when it comes down to.
But
When
it's
it
easy
comes
to
to-
learn.
I
It's
raised
easy to
children.
learn.
So simple. It's so easy. And that's why we make a great team because it's kind of like the yin yang. Like
Yeah.
we just like our strengths come together.
Yeah.
So, and even before, like when we reunited 3 years ago, was the beginning of
Reunited.
Yeah.
Sorry.
When we reunited 2020, we said right away, we're like, we're going to do a business together. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what it is, but there's something there. And both of us growing up when we were in high school age, we took those tests. You know, you take those tests in high school, the aptitude test to see
Yeah.
what like you're good at and
Yeah.
what, you know, what your gifts are.
Yeah.
We
Mine
both
came back inconclusive, by the way.
That's not a choice. That's not an option.
It was like, just stop. Don't even try.
Well, both of our tests came back as farmers.
Yeah.
And I always just pictured myself like being on some ranch, like working with the chickens,
see
working
it.
with the horses.
With
love
with your hair, you have the
wildlife.
cute little like pigtails. I can see this on you.
And I've always wanted to have like land. I've always wanted land.
Yeah.
And
Growing up in Southern California, you don't think that that's even an option because you're like,
Right.
we're like, oh, really?
Although I can help you with that if you need help finding land. Okay, please continue.
Perfect. Yeah. So we just knew in our brains like that was just something that we were going to work with. And then all of a sudden, voila, that's when we found the seeds and planted the seed and watch it flourish.
Yeah, that's so cool. I see that you have aliens on your shirt.
yes.
And I know that the name is Jim's Crop Circle.
Right.
So please do tell me about the story of how you got the name.
Kind of goes back to when I was before I met her. Before I grew up in Whittier.
Before you met her, weren't you like 4? Before you met, like when did you guys
Well,
meet?
we were 10.
We met, yeah, we were 10. So this was like,
So
we
you
met
were
in
young.
fifth and sixth grade was the timeline of when we met when I moved to the city of Hacienda Heights. But before that, I lived in Whittier. And at this house I grew up in Whittier was a very unique house. I mean, it had some interesting things going on in there. And at a young age, I always had sensed things that were not quite right. And eventually, I think when I was in fourth grade, somewhere in that range, I would have visits in my dreams and encounters basically
Ooh.
with little gray aliens. And it was pretty interesting. On top of that, my I don't know, I would just have some as a young kid, I would have scary dreams about it. And it was hard. I'm glad we moved from that house.
Yeah, that sounds scary.
That's kind of like where I'm at with that as far as like my experience has always. So I've always had this connection. I've always felt a connection to outside entities from this world since that point, even to now. So it's just, and it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I just wish more people would understand it and open their minds to the fact that we're not alone in this world. And so so that's where that kind of
So that's where it
stemmed
came
from.
from.
Yeah.
That is a good story.
Yeah.
And he's highly intuitive, and that was one of the things that really attracted me right away, because you already know my personality.
Yep.
And when I saw right away of his gifts and his intuition and his ability, like, I think it just really helped him like unleash, like it helped him just feel comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't really tell those types of things to certain people because they'll look at you like you're crazy. And it's when I shared that story with Laura, she got it, she understood, and I didn't have to feel hushed anymore. You know, I can share and even expand on it with her because her openness with all of that, and she understood. So it made it, that much easier for me to just be myself, and away we go.
And the best part is it's called Jim's Crop Circle. Well, we as a couple made a full circle.
Yeah, you did.
So that's kind of another way to look at it, is like we are doing this full circle.
Yeah.
And it's Jim's Crop Circle.
I love that because you met, like you said, when you were 10.
Yeah.
And then you were kids.
We were children. We had an innocent peck. Like it was nothing like it was one of those I dare you to kiss underneath a waterfall at Raging Waters.
Is that the real story?
Yes.
And we went out on, to little movie dates and stuff, hold hands. But that was pretty much, it was very innocent, and we went to the same middle school, same high school. We actually even went to the same college, even though we probably never crossed, we probably crossed each other's paths, just
grew
never
in
saw each other.
separate
But we just went on our
paths.
own, our own directions, and then came right back full
circle
Crop
2020.
Oh, wow. In 2020 of all years, there's no accident there.
Yeah.
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 What a weird year. But so to me, that's
Definitely.
a good year to say that you met. I love that. That's so cool. So I know that you mentioned that there's a lot of nutrition, like more nutritional value in these microgreens than regular
adult
vegetables,
vegetables.
plants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you even know that? Like,
Well,
how did you
we
guys
went
figure
down the rabbit hole of researching. Like
Right.
once I figured out that this can grow almost overnight, I'm like, let's just do some homework. And I love knowledge. Like I love random knowledge. I'm not like just one little subject. I'm like, let's learn a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
And so when I was excited about these greens growing so fast, I'm like, let's just go down that rabbit hole and learn. And every microgreen has a different nutritional value, even though they all supply vitamins, minerals, calcium, iron. They kill cancer cells. I mean, there's just a multitude of different things
Anti-inflammatory.
that they do. And so I was like, well, now I got to learn about all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like you to do that. Yeah, you're like, okay, well, and that's awesome though, because I mean, I would want somebody I'm getting my product from to, is it called a product when it's a plant?
Yeah.
It's a product because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's something.
Definitely.
To know what's going on with it, especially because I probably won't. I'll be like, yeah, sure, you tell me it's healthy, I'm going to eat it. That's probably not the best way to operate in life, but
Well,
I
I,
trust
say
you.
if you feel it in your heart, then that's when you know the answer.
yeah. It hasn't been very long, but this has kind of blown up. I mean, I know you're at farmers markets, right? And you're doing different things, but you're also delivering.
So
Yes.
yeah, it's exploded. I think we started at the beginning of 2023, so that new year, just a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was all experimental for that month, and then all of a sudden we realized that this can be profitable.
It's the thing. Yeah.
And then on top of that, I'm like, oh my gosh, we can help so many people.
Yeah.
And so just friends and family, like they were like, oh, let's try it. Let's do, let's
Yeah, we started out with
experiment.
samples in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The samples we gave out, everyone loved them. So we started.
Well, I work
the
a lot
research
with
on it around the area.
synchronicities. Like I went to a yoga studio, and then they're wanting us for a grand opening that's happening next week. And then I saw an ad for a baseball team that needed vendors, and I signed up for that. And then that was our first experimental vendor. And then I'm like, well, let's just apply for the farmers market.
Yeah.
And so we applied for that. And when we went down in person, they're like, we need you. We need this. Like
Oh.
this is like everyone
That's
who
so
we've
cool.
interacted with the management team down at any farmers markets, they're like, we need someone who specifies in exactly microgreens, because a lot of people have vegetables.
Yeah.
And then they have a microgreen as an addition, but we want to like niche it down
Yeah.
and have like, this is like what microgreens are.
Into a sushi place, a local sushi
Yeah, I
place.
saw that.
So
That's
was pretty
so
awesome.
cool. Where
Yeah.
so people can try your microgreens in their sushi. And where is that?
Sushi Plus One, which is off of Los Alamos and
Oh.
Hancock in that shopping center where there's Stater
Okay.
Brothers. It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a really good,
Yeah.
fun place.
Brand new spot that
Brand new
they,
spot.
Oh, it's brand new.
They're
I love
a
sushi.
lot
I'm
of
down.
Their original store was down in San Diego, and then they moved us up here. So that was pretty awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So it
Yeah.
sounds like you have some big plans to continue growing. It sounds
Yes.
I actually
I love all of them, all the puns in this. Like
it's just by
in this
accident.
business
I
is
didn't
great.
even try.
It's all right.
Growing your business, growing your crops. What do you see kind of happening for you guys in the future, in your future?
We want to get organic certified because that could even get us into open some more doors for us. Be awesome to get into local supermarkets like our Barron's, Stater Brothers, things like that. Do as many farmers markets as possible just to get the word out, because a lot of even adults at our first vendors event, a lot of adults didn't even know what microgreens were
I didn't.
until they tried them. And they were like,
Mhm.
"Whoa!"
I've never even tried one.
It blew their mind away. Of just one little leaf, one little stem from the microgreen tastes exactly like the adult plant, just in a smaller form.
But it was the kids
The
that
kids,
came over
yes.
and knew exactly. Like they're I'm like, you know what? This is gonna make you run really fast. It's gonna make you big and strong. Like, don't eat the donuts, eat these. And so they kept coming back for more samples, more samples. They're like, these are good.
Oh, how cute.
And they brought their parents back. And
To
their parents
buy
are like,
some.
what is going on over here? What's the hype? Like, we don't know anything about this, but my son loves them, so we're buying some.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you can get kids to eat vegetables
Yeah.
without like,
was
and they're
pretty amazing.
dragging you to do it, then I'm thinking that's
That
the
was
key, man.
huge.
There was even a lady at that market that her son doesn't like anything. Like, he's the most pickiest eater ever. Hates vegetables, and he tried the microgreens and he loved them. He kept wanting to get the samples, and she was just like so shocked. She bought a lot from us too, and she's been continuously buying from us ever since that time. So it was pretty awesome.
That's
Pretty
cool.
awesome to see that.
And
It's
same
kid
with-
approved. Kid approved.
Yes,
Yay.
kid approved, and same with the health and wellness industry. There was a
Yes.
lot of people coming over that work in either wellness centers that have patients, maybe they're cancer patients or they're recovering from something.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he's like, we got to get you in here. Like, this is something that's going to change lives.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
not something the FDA wants to promote. Like, of course they don't. It's
Right.
it's not very expensive. You know, it's
Mhm.
not this magic pill. It's just eating something healthy to supplement, and you don't have to eat very much.
Wow.
Right.
That's a big deal.
Uh-huh.
Like what you're saying right now is I'm processing it because it's a big deal what you just said. Like it's inexpensive. People can do it in their homes
Yes.
by themselves. It's not difficult.
Mhm.
And then they're not going to need these prescriptions to fix the things that, like you
Right.
could actually, it's preventative.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, like like being healthy in general is, but like this is a way to do it that's super easy for people, especially with all the craziness going on in the world.
Right. Right.
We have to think about these things. Now, I guess I should stop killing things, or I could just order from you.
Well, and
And
that's
then-
the thing. I'm like, eventually, I want to have a course, which would just be easy online, and anyone in the world could learn how to grow their greens in 10 days or less. And if they don't want to do that, then yeah, we have the supply available.
Yeah. So where do you deliver?
So
How far?
on Tuesdays, it's a free delivery to anywhere in Temecula and Marietta.
Okay.
And it's just for now. I don't know how long it's going to last because honestly, like we have
Well, yeah.
already sold out of inventory for the week that we have to save it for the farmers market coming this Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So we're already sold out.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
a
That's
good
awesome,
problem.
though.
And we have a 2-rack system going on right now. We're thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to have to get a 3rd rack. And yeah, the demand is
It's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. I
Well,
mean, we're
that's
doing
great.
informational videos about each individual product so people understand, and then obviously go do your own research and
Yeah.
see which one might benefit you. And we have no problem growing it if you want us to
Yeah.
grow it. If you can't grow it, I mean, obviously, water is very important. There's a lot of chemicals in the water, so yeah, it doesn't mean you can grow it, but you're honestly putting chemicals back into that
Yeah.
product that you're trying to grow to eat. So if you don't have any type of filtration system, yes, it's still going to give you the right product, but you don't know how
Yeah.
it's going to grow for you.
And I
because
used to
of the
sell
chemicals.
water systems.
Ooh,
And so I used to do those water tests. And I'm telling you, Riverside County especially,
dirty.
Yeah,
it's gross.
tons of
Dirty.
chlorine, especially just in Southern California in general.
Hmm.
Chlorine is like probably the number one thing in everyone's water supply. That's
Yeah.
just, it
It's why
dries
we
your
feel
skin out.
dry.
It dries your skin
Yeah.
out, gets you dry and itchy. If you have eczema, no bueno.
Yeah.
So,
Messes up your hair color.
yeah. So,
Shit's expensive.
if you're trying to grow plants, even plants in general, you don't want to be putting chemicals on those plants.
Mhm.
And growing indoors does help too because we don't know what's going on in the air.
It's a really good
We
point.
actually had some plants outside that we were growing. We were growing some San Marzano tomatoes. And when we first started growing them, they're lush and green. And unfortunately, we planted them at the wrong time. But then all these rains came. The green went to, I don't know, they look withery. Like it's
Oh.
almost something that was in
They
the rain
ate 'em
just
up,
killed
or the
them.
weather ate
That's
it. It's really
crazy.
weird.
Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, you're talking, like you said, you mentioned like broccoli and now you're saying tomatoes. Like in my brain, I'm just thinking the little greens, but you're saying these are full on.
So it's a baby plant of whatever vegetable that you
Any
can speak of.
vegetable.
So
I think
my
you said that, but sometimes my brain takes a minute to actually process what people say. A little slow.
yeah, no,
that
it's
means I'm a
okay.
little slow.
And
But
it is
I get there
overwhelming
eventually.
because there's a lot of different kinds. But when I say like, okay, broccoli microgreens, it's going to taste a lot like broccoli. It's just harvested young at the young stages.
Mhm.
And I love those ones. They're very mild. Like I think broccoli is a good beginner.
okay.
A good beginner microgreen without
Yeah.
overwhelming people on all the different kinds.
Yeah.
The easiest one to grow though is probably radish. We grow red arrow radish. Has a beautiful red stem as it gets about you want to harvest it around 3.5 inches tall. But it's it'll grow. I mean, you can just put a little water in it and let it just do its thing, and it'll just go.
I should do that
Broccoli.
to work on my ego a little bit. So I'd be like, look what I did. Grew radish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bowl. Just put
Just
a
a
little bowl. and do
little,
it.
you know what? I need to bring her a sample. Why didn't I bring one today?
Oh, we should have brought one. Put it
I
right here in the
can't
middle.
believe it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a centerpiece.
Oh, yeah, try that one.
I know that's not it.
Well, in the corner of my eye, like behind you, I keep seeing the
Oh,
greens. And so
that's
I'm like, I'm feeling microgreen.
perfect.
Good job, Jaime. He set it up for us. I want to make sure I don't miss anything that you guys would want people to know about when it comes to this. So if there's anything I did miss, tell me about it.
I mean, you can find Jim's. We have a website at jimscropcircle.com, and you can order greens there. You can reach out to us through Instagram, Facebook.
And it's all Jim's Crop Circle
Yeah.
is how you're going to find it.
Yeah.
So,
And-
You guys have some fun videos too. Like it's not like boring microgreen videos.
oh, this
Like,
guy can do
Yeah.
accents. Do one of your accents right now. Come on.
Well, I like to do accents, but it's not like always the best time to do it. But whatever, I'll do it anyway, right? Why not?
Yay! Entertainment and microgreens.
Yay.
Only here with Jimmy and Laura.
Why
I
not?
would expect nothing less. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm so happy that you came and that you were able to come down. I definitely want to make sure everybody knows about what you're doing. I think it's really, really cool. It's been fun to watch on the sidelines. I was there when it first kind of started. I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" You know, I want to watch this grow, and it's been really cool. I know Laura and her energy. Like, I have no doubt at all this will blow up like everything else you do, and you have like the Midas touch when it comes to manifesting stuff. So you're gonna make it all happen. I don't know you as well, so I just, that's not saying
No,
you can't do the
that's
same. Together,
Watch
you
it
guys.
flourish.
Yes, it'll be amazing. So thanks so much for being here with me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.